Hello, this is Trilates, a program of Pilates and yoga for triathletes. We will begin with a yoga warm-up. So we'll begin with the feet together, feet facing forward. Inhale, lifting the fingertips to the ceiling, and exhale, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, look up with a flat back, and exhale, stepping one foot and the other foot back. Feel that you're pulling your shoulders down away from your ears, pushing all 10 fingers, pressing your weight back onto your heels. Lift your sit bones to the ceiling and feel that you're keeping a flat lower back. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel the length created in the backs of your legs. The goal here is to keep the body in a straight line. So you want to watch that you're keeping the ribs connected, keeping the navel pulled in, and tucking the tailbone under, keeping this nice straight line. So keeping this straight line, we're going to focus on the scapula, the shoulder blades. We're keeping the shoulders pulled away from your ears. And what we're going to do here is work on the actual muscles that stabilize the shoulder blade. So as you exhale, lift the body through the shoulder blades, pulling the shoulder blades apart. Now we'll give the legs a break and we're going to focus on the shoulders. So now with the arms outstretched, focus on keeping that space between your ears and shoulders as big as you can. So you're going to keep those shoulders down away from your ears. We're going to pick up the right arm. So exhale and lift, and instantly you'll find that the shoulder wants to rise up to your ear. So try and keep that space. We're going to circle the arm with the emphasis on keeping the shoulders away from your ears. So even if you've got to do that in the beginning with a bent elbow, that's fine. So try to keep it as perfect as you can to keep the shoulder away from your ear, and change the direction, keeping the shoulder away from your ear, and relax. Let's try that on the other side. Imagine there's a wall behind you and you're going to bend the knees over the toes, keeping the body in a nice straight position, keeping the navel pulled in, inhale and come up. And again, exhale and slowly lower, making sure that the knees are bending over the midline of the foot and slowly up. So keeping space between the knees. This exercise can be done in front of a mirror to make sure that the knee is bending over the toes. You're only going as far as you can keep the heels flat, as well as keeping the knees over the toes so that the knees aren't falling in. So we'll try two more. Keeping the knees apart, heels apart, feet apart, keeping equal distance between all so that the hip, knee, and foot are in a straight line. So to start, we're going into a pigeon stretch. We'll start on all fours, on the hands and knees. Draw the right foot across the body in front of you, and slide the opposite leg back. Walk the hands away from you, lying down, keeping both hips facing down. The goal here is to keep both hips facing down. We're getting a stretch of the glutes on this side, and we'll eventually get a stretch of the hip flexor on the left. So keeping the navel in, relax the shoulders, and focus on your breath. Continue pulling that left hip down and just make sure that both hips are facing directly down so we're not overcompensating on either side. So you're going to feel that you're sitting back on the right hip and continuing to pull the left hip down towards the floor. From here, walk up onto your hands. Lift the chest up, shoulders back. Walk the hands all the way up towards you, opening up the chest, shoulders back. It's important here to keep both hips facing forward, and from here we're bending the knee, reaching back to grab the foot. So from here, lifting the chest up and dropping the left hip. If you find this difficult, you can use a strap under the toes to pull the foot towards you. But continue dropping that left hip for a stretch of the hip flexor. It helps to draw the navel in, as if you're trying to keep your back flat to get a deeper stretch in front of the hip flexor. Inhale, slowly let go, and we'll switch to the other side. going to start in standing with the feet hip width apart, feet facing forward, so making sure that the toes and heels are in a straight line. Make sure that the knees are also pointed forward over the toes. This is very important for alignment. So keeping the navel pulled in, tailbone tucked under, we're bending the knees over the toes, making sure that the knees are bending directly over the midline of the foot. Inhale, slowly come up, and exhale and continue. Keep the shoulders relaxed, keeping the collarbones wide and the navel pulled in. And then we'll go into single leg, so picking up the right leg, standing on the left, find your balance, keeping both hips facing forward. We'll continue bending the knee over the toe. It's important to make sure that you're only going as far as the knee can bend perfectly straight over the midline of the toe. So you're not going so far that the knee starts to shoot in. Make sure that you're keeping it small enough that it's perfect. Keep the navel pulled in, shoulders back, and one last time. And let's try that on the other side.
In this segment, we're going to focus on self-massage or myofascial release. The props you'll need for this segment are a spiky ball or tennis ball and a foam roll. The area that we're first going to focus on is the iliotibial band, or ITB, which is the area from your knee up to your hip. So placing the foam roll just underneath you, under the lower leg, and keeping the whole leg up off the ground. Place the other leg in front of the right knee and just bring the foam roll to just above the knee. From here, using your upper body and arms for support, just roll from the knee up to the midline of the thigh.
Okay, for the elite competitor trying to improve their swim speed, upper body mobility is absolutely essential. When you watch elite swimmers in a pure swimming environment, you'll see an amazing degree of rotation, a range of motion through the shoulders, the ability to create a very small profile in the water, and that all comes around through having excellent technique. So here we have the limited rotation to the upper body, lack of ability to create that streamlined position, a lot more of the body submerged. The stroke turnover, the rate of the arm turnover is a lot higher as we try to create the speed we want to swim at, with more strokes where they're a lot more inefficient. A lot more of the shoulder is exposed, a lot more work is being done to try to create the speed. It shortens the pull, the arms can't push back as far, and a complete contrast here. Suddenly we're rotating through the long axis. You can see the streamlined position from shoulder to shoulder, sealing up that gap between the upper arm and the cheek. Water's flowing around the body a lot more smoothly.
In preparation for training, swimming, technique. Don't worry so much about distance, worry about getting that technique right. So you can swim for half an hour, 40 minutes comfortably. When it comes to cycling, it's a matter of spending time on the bike. There's no other answer to it. You can, and as you get more professional in triathlon, you can invest time in changing your position, optimizing your aerodynamic profile, and training much more on the specifics of the course that you're going to race on. If you're a runner, then 10 kilometers will not be a great challenge. So what do you want to focus on? Well, you want to do the distance. You want to make sure you're running 3 or 4 times a week, absolutely. But what you want to remember is the new thing to most people, to new triathletes, is running after a bike.